I think this is Rob again with a little bit of dark humor, maybe more than just a little bit of dark humor. Before I get started, I wanted to mention that there's a little bit that I didn't tell you about this three-legged dog we had on the last video. That sound is a bone, the dog and a bone. Uh, and anyway, that dog was a plot hound. And plot hound is a bear dog used for tracking and bears mostly. And it's been, the breed has been declared a state breed for the state of North Carolina. And I thought, several people asked me, what's about that three-legged dog? Well, and it lost its leg in a professional activity, probably with respect to bear hunting. Now, you may remember, or may not remember, that I described little stories that I'm telling that deal with a rich, homespun, diverse, large family that has some things going for it that I can't explain without a lawyer being present this morning, and I don't have one. But we have, as a family, been successful and at times not very successful. At the present time, we're down a little bit. We're down to a small island and a yacht. Our only possessions right now, but we're working. But some of our family members feel that it's all a joke. The world, our activity and the world's activity is all a dark joke. And they've kind of given up on us. But a substantial number of us in the family feel that while it may be a dark joke, it's still worth joking about. For example, here's one little situation that we got ourselves into. My sister Mary is in charge of acquisition of materials. And she phoned from Afghanistan the other evening to let us know that she had secured a plane load of buckwheat for some children at a country in North Africa. The plane was loaded, pilot with his thumbs up, the engine's going, and it was beginning to roll down the darkened runway. And Mary looked around and she saw a briefcase leaning against the wall next to the plane. And she yelled out, "Who left their briefcase at the wall?" And the next thing we knew about Mary and the plane was on the evening news in the United States, in which the site on which she had been standing and the plane had been standing were on the evening news. And I was apoplectic. Here we had $150 million worth of quote unquote buckwheat going to North African children, and we had a $50 million plane to carry it on, a second-hand plane that must have been a mess. So I thought, if this isn't a world-class dark joke, I don't know what one is. So we laughed it all off, and that was it. But I understand that for miles around, Afghan people were high for the next 24 hours, and it must have been whatever was in that buckwheat. So that's an example of a dark joke, if you could call it a joke. we've gotten through it without any problem, and we will probably run into that sort of thing again. We have also had some, problems with individuals in our family. We're not a perfect family, and sometimes those problems affect the business. And I've been out of that for the most part because I'm an old bachelor. Have you ever heard of the old bachelor song? It goes like uh, I never will marry. I'll take me no wife. I'll be a poor bachelor for the rest of my life. But I might mess around a little. So I'm still a bachelor, have been all of my life. But there was a time when I was in love, and I was engaged to be married, and she was in love with me, and we spent time together. She was my fiance. And then one morning, while I was at work, I was working, she came up to me and said, our marriage is no longer on. I'm no longer your fiance. You're too self-centered and you're too immature for me. And I was shocked. But I said, well, if that's the way you want it, get the hell out of my sandbox. And she did. And she spread immaturity all over the county for the next 50 years.